Come on. These relationships that you think are so awesome, and you know why and I'll fill you in a little. I'll fill you in, especially the teenagers in the audience, and the young people in the audience who kind of just recently kind of shot an email and somebody emailed them back and a little Facebook thing happened, and, you know, a little wink and a little there in the playground, even though it's a separate school, but in recess you saw each other like and like a little bit of that happened. Let me just fill you in a little. You know, all of this is a product of low self-esteem. You think you're ugly. So if a guy thinks you're cute, you're like, really? I'm beautiful? You know, you have low self-esteem. You think nobody's going to like you, nobody's going to want to marry you, and all of that stuff. And on the other hand, the guy, like, you know, we don't have good friendships and good relationships, and we're looking for something. And most of the guys, I don't have to tell you what's going on in your head. You and I have ijma' on this issue. The things that go on in our head. There's no reason for me to explain all of that to you. You know? But you know, just because you have raging hormones and you're like daydreaming about girls and things like that, it doesn't mean that you're in love. It just means that you haven't controlled your temptations yet. And you're ruining somebody's life. You're ruining an entire family. You realize what you're doing? And you call it love? You tell me if she was like 50 pounds fatter, you still be in love? Because she's the same person, same ruh inside her jasad, right? If she was a burn victim or something, if her hand burnt off, or her ear was missing, you still be in love? Or you find somebody else to love all of a sudden? And if you can't answer that question honestly, then come on, you're not in love, you're just hormonal. That's all you are, you know? This is what we've done to relationships that are supposed to be beautiful. Marriage is supposed to be a beautiful relationship. It's supposed to be a lifelong relationship. But because you're watching all of these models on TV and stupid, like, you know, women that are just throwing themselves at men and all this stuff, and you've developed this delusional concept of what it means to have love in your life. Delusional concept. Our deen came to free the world from this nonsense. To free it. Because we have a more mature understanding of what it means to have love in your life. You know, to have, I'm not saying you shouldn't marry someone you like, you should. You should be attracted to your future spouse. All of those things are fine. But there's a decency that you have to exhibit before then. You know? And if you're okay with talking to a girl like that, you should be okay with somebody talking to your sister. You're okay with that too? Not if you have any ounce of decency left inside you. If you do, then, you know, this is how we have to end these things. And no, if you've been in that kind of relationship, or you're in one of those relationships right now, nobody knows. Only Allah knows and you know. Don't raise your hand, please. Right? What I'm saying, and you're like, oh, after today's lecture, I have decided I no longer want to be your friend. You know, don't even write that, because even then you're looking for a response. You're kidding yourself. And then you're checking, did she write back? Yes, we should no longer be friends. And then you'll write back, you're right, we really shouldn't be friends anymore. And then she'll write back, yeah, never again. And then you're still doing it. Just stop, just cut it off. Just cut it off. It's not good for you. And guys, I've done a whole series on shame, so I won't repeat the whole thing because it took hours and hours and hours, but I will tell you this. It's okay to be attracted to a girl. Allah put that in you. You're not evil for finding a girl beautiful. It's not haram for you to feel that way. You have to control it though. You have to control yourself. Our deen teaches us self-control. And if you cannot exhibit self-control in one aspect of your life, you'll lose self-control in other aspects of your life. Same thing for you. Same thing for you. Control yourself. Control your giggle. Control your overly friendly demeanor in certain situations. Don't be oblivious to, don't say we're just friends, or he's like a brother to me. If he ain't your brother, he ain't your brother. That's it. That's it. Either he's your brother, you share a mom, or he's not. And that's the end of it.
The Sahabas, they used to make the halal easy. So what became hard? The haram. When we make the halal hard, the haram becomes easy. Mark my words, brothers and sisters. I'm talking to the parents. When you make the halal hard, the haram becomes easy. When you make the halal easy, the haram becomes hard. Open the doors for marriage, inshaAllah, and lower the dowry, and go in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah. There is a culture among the youth which I fear, and that is that they are turning away from marriage, and if they get married, they divorce very quickly. Brothers and sisters in Islam, do not let the idea of haram relationships get the better of you. A lot of youth, they come to me and they say, brother, I want to get married, but I need to get to know the girl. And the girl says, I need to get to know the guy. How am I meant to get to know them if I don't go out with them? If we don't have coffee together? Like the West teaches. Brothers and sisters, let me inform you about something very important. You will never know your future wife or your future husband if you just go out together. You'll never know them. Take it from a person who's lived in a country where people do this all the time. Because when you go out together, you are on your best behavior. You are on your best looks, the best cologne. The CK perfume is on you, and she's got Versace, and she's come out ready to meet you. She's probably looked at the mirror and spent about half an hour practicing how to talk to you. And you as well, looking at every little hair on your forehead, every little hair on your cheek. This all fades away within about 6 months of your marriage. The only thing that's left is the character. You will never know the true character of this person until you meet them in their home. You go the Islamic way, and you go and ask for their hand in marriage to their father first. A lot of youth, they come to me and they say, I need to get to know the girl first. And subhanAllah, how quick they are to jump on where? Where did I jump on to get to know them? The internet. And messaging, text. They start conversing. Are you interested in marriage? She's on the other side. She's got a username first, right? Let's chat. How did you know I was a sister? Oh, I looked at your profile and you had some really good, I'm interested in that too. And let's get into this conversation. And it comes up to me and says, brother, it's in the interest of marriage. My intentions are pure. Your intentions are pure? You're doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you're doing it your way? What do you think? You're making up your own religion now. So they chit-chat and they chit-chat and they chit-chat, right? First they attract each other. Then they meet each other. Then they look at each other. It's all good to now, right? They haven't touched. Then they want to touch. Then the touch turns into something else. And then finally, they fall in love. In love. Oh, if you only knew. Brothers and sisters, you don't know what love is. This is not love. This is lust, lust. The girl is thinking, oh, how romantic he is. He's like that movie I watched the other day, Twilight Saga. The boy, he thinks he's Rambo. Walking, tensing his muscles. She's thinking how romantic he is, walking me through the garden and the roses and the butterflies. He's got one thing on his mind. And he's thinking, I will tolerate all of this until I get to what I want. If he's a Muslim, you ask him about his sister, he will say, I'll kill any guy who looks at her. If you want to marry someone, then you go in the right way, inshaAllah. Go through her father first, before you go through the girl. Why? My sisters, I'm talking to you now. Sisters, you've never been a man before. You don't understand how men think. Let your father do the work, inshaAllah. And obviously the fathers, I encourage you to be a bit more courageous and find husbands for your daughters. Don't sit there and make it difficult. Open the doors for marriage, inshaAllah, and lower the dowry and go in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah. So the brother comes to the father and the father likes him. Then you meet the daughter, and if you fall in love with her, alhamdulillah. But the other way, if you fall in love with each other, you come to ask for her hand in marriage, and then the father says, over my dead body. What are you going to do then? You've fallen for each other. What are you going to do? The boy is dreaming about her. She's dreaming about him. He's the love of her life. She's the love of his life. That's what the shaitan tells you. What are you going to do? They start to cry. They start to this. They want to commit suicide. So they elope. They run away together. So he goes and marries her for 2 months. That's what happens, my sisters. And that's one of the reasons why divorces happen. He doesn't want you anymore. There are brothers who get married and they want to marry a second wife. In culture, in Arab culture, for example, marrying a second wife, it's difficult. So what do? They go for converts to Islam. They marry them 2 months, 3 months down the track, and then they divorce them. This is haram. Haram to use and abuse. There are married couples who are stricken by this internet business and Facebook, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this halal for you at home. And there are sisters who Allah has given you this halal man at home, but for some reason curiosity gets the better of you and you go to search the world, and divorces occur as a result. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, you are only putting yourselves into harm, and our children are being neglected, our children are being taken away by others, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and they are being raised by other people while the husband and wife are too busy with their desires.